Welcome back to Taking Action. How are we going to take action in 2026? This is important. Why? Because 2026 is 10 years after 2016, which was the best year of the 21st century. And I mean that. So, how do we take action? We're going to go over a quote from this book called The CEO Mindset. And a lot of the CEOs talked about make big moves early and often. And what are the big moves that we need to make? It's the actions we're not taking to get us to where we want to go. But you're not doing those actions for a reason. You're not doing those actions because you do not understand and you do not believe and you can't see yourself taking that action. You don't understand that you taking that action is a possibility, that it's a reality, that is a thing that is happening and that you just need to take shape and form into that person. Also your mind and yourself is just exhausted from trying to take action when you are forcing it. It's like you're going against the current. That's what it is. You're going against the current and you're not going to be able to take the action that you want to take. So step number one, we're going to get clear. Okay? Clarity. What is it that you need to do? Right? We're going to write that down. What is it that you need to do? That's a basic step. Why are we going to write that down? Because we prioritize, right? Prioritize urgent tasks. You prioritize urgent tasks. What do we need to prioritize? Important tasks. What is the difference? Urgent tasks, we could pretend this is school. Urgent tasks are doing homework. You're doing homework, you got to get homework done because that homework is going to be graded and you will lose a lot of points if you don't do it. Important tasks, studying and understanding the concept. This is all from Justin Sung, Dr. Sung. Look him up, phenomenal. Studying, right? Creating practice problems for yourself or looking up practice problems and trying to figure out and problem solve so you get a better idea of what you're doing. That is an important action to take. We need to weed out the difference, right, in our lives between these two. What are the urgent tasks that are just kind of wasting our time, making us exhausted? And then what are the important tasks that can move the needle to make it become exponential? We are taking big moves here early and often until you reach that point. The point that you want to get to, which is what your goal and your mindset was on. So let's really get clear on step number 2. So step number 1 was get clear. Step number 2, when you are feeling, right, that you don't want to take the action, you need to figure out that feeling and kind of jot it down, right? Now get clear, right? Get clear. Get clear on your feelings. Not on some emotional type of way. No, we want to get clear on what are you feeling before that action. And then what is your response? What is the response? Get clear on what you're feeling and then what is the response. We want to get a picture and kind of understand ourselves here, okay? Because when you avoid to understand yourself, you're kind of like you're giving it power, right? You're giving it power. We want to I think the biggest concept right here, right? We're going to wrap it and tie it into this is that nothing has power over you. That's kind of the concept that we want to grasp. Nothing has power over you. That's your ideal sense of self, right? Everybody has a sense of self, but everybody has access to the ideal sense of self, which is nothing has power over us. Oof. So even if you can't do this, right? Write down your feeling. I feel like you can. I feel like anybody can do this. That feeling of overwhelmness, right? Your anxiety, the feeling of confusion and laziness and tiredness, right? Then what is your response to that? I really think you can map this out. If you can't, though, can you imagine yourself? Can you just take a break? Can you take your minimum viable goal, right? What is your minimum viable goal? Here, it's going to be sitting down, relaxing, taking a step back, pausing, and thinking about how you would look like. You thinking, what is your feeling? Like you just imagining what you're doing. Imagine that you're just like sitting down, jotting notes down. You need to get clear on this though. Your feeling and what is the response. Get in tune with yourself. Don't be afraid. Nothing has power over you. Nothing has power over you. So, number 3, all right? All right. This is broken. So, number 3, we want to decide. We want to decide what is the best action to take now. What is the best action to take? Or, I mean, what is the ideal response that you want, right? So, when you're feeling tired, when you're feeling overwhelmed, what is the ideal response that you would want to do after you feel that feeling? Because all feelings are justified. We're human beings. We're of course we're gonna feel tired. Of course we're gonna feel confused. Of course we're gonna feel anything on a broad range, right? Happy, sad. Of course you're gonna feel that. What is the ideal response that you want? And it doesn't have to be a big thing, right? But I guess the ideal response for me is when I feel tired, or the bad response, right? The bad habit is me feeling tired, so I go on my phone to like distract myself and kind of wake me up. Or if I feel overwhelmed, I'll go on my phone to distract myself and remove that overwhelmed feeling and just focus on my phone and have fun. My ideal response is when I feel that overwhelmed feeling. Ugh, I'm feeling it right now. Well, not really. My head is just hurting. My ideal response is to sit down, relax, right? Not check my phone, right? And kind of plan what my ideal next move would be. And I would say, kind of have something already on the go, right? So I would say, the first action that I would want to take that would move the needle would be going over stock trades because I day trade. I'm learning how to. Well, I already learned how to, but I'm just practicing. Go over my stock trades, practice more, review. 15 minutes, that's it. Okay? So that's what we want to do. But the trick is, right? The trick is we stated that, right? And now it's we listen and don't judge. Okay? Now it's not listen anymore. It's we replace that with imagine and don't judge. Okay? We listen, we imagine, and we don't judge. That means we're going to be imagining, right? Imagining what we look like when we take that ideal response action. What do we look like? What is the environment? Can you just see yourself putting down your phone and doing the work that you need to do? Now, but we don't judge ourselves here. We don't judge ourselves here in terms of like, yeah, I would never do that. Or, yeah, I'm trying to imagine it, but I can't. Well, that's different. You're not judging yourself, but you just can't imagine yourself. Can you? So then, like, what else is like even? If you can't imagine yourself doing that, right? If you just can't imagine, what is something that you can do besides that? You can script it out. You can write it out, right? So we got imagining, we got writing it out, right? We want to see ourselves taking that action. That's it, because we can't do it, not yet, because we are exhausted. Our mind is tapped. We've been trying to do this action forever, but we just keep doing the bad habits. Like we're in a loop. We can't get out. So Break the loop. Why? Why does this work? Because every time, this loop is every time when you are feeling overwhelmed or distracted, you are putting your awareness and being aware of this overwhelmed feeling and then being on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Like you are just constantly aware and you know that, hey, this is who I am. Like I just can't get anything done. I can't take action because I'm aware and you're monitoring yourself. Every time that you have that feeling or you don't take action, you procrastinate. It's just an image in your brain that just keeps replaying, right? Even after the whole thing ends, right? Like towards the end of the night, like, oh, what did I do today? I did nothing. And you just imagine yourself like doing nothing, right? Can we just take 2 to 5 minutes of our day? Not even just don't even time yourself. Imagine the ideal response that you want to take. So this, like, again, it's like I'm trying to say, this works because you're not being aware anymore of the bad habit. You are let's see if I can do this. You are here, look at this. It's like bad habit, right? Bad habit, and then old response, right? Response. Instead, right? This little gap right here, right? This little gap. You're replacing it with monitoring and imagining, scripting new ideal behavior, right? And then you can take the old response again, right? Then you could get back onto doing whatever you're doing. But, however, this right here, you constantly do this, you will start moving towards the ideal response that you're going to take. Now, how do you even like think that this is like, oh yeah, this is going to work, right? How do you know that this is going to work? How can you just like tell? I think first of all, what the concept that we want to start embedding in our minds. I mean, by the time you go through the weeds and you're like, holy shit, I should have done this. Listen to people who know what they're doing, right? So, where am I getting this information from? From a doctor, right? Who has specialized in learning how to learn, meaning, hey, how do you study? How do you learn? How do you unlearn bad habits and replace with them with new habits? Then I'm also learning from a coach of how to renew your mind. So we're going to get into that. All right, because it's all together. It's all together. Because if you're unlearning bad habits, you're renewing your mind. Kobe said, the best athletes have the shortest memory. Did he say that? I don't know. I heard some girl say that Kobe said that, and I'm running with it. So we need to understand that we, as a human being, have a brain, and that brain can come up with the words of I am, right? I am, and then dot dot dot. You can say I am to anything, right? Does that mean you believe it's true? No. But you can say I am to anything. So you can't believe it's true. However, you can imagine, right? You can script, write it down, and kind of get an image of it, right? When you're scripting, you'll get an image of it, or you'll get an understanding of it, and then that is like it feels real, or it just kind of seems real, or you just have an idea of it. You have the ability to say I am to anything, to have a perception of anything right in this world, and that means you have the ability to be the one that takes action. You have the perception in your mind where you can take action. You are imagining, right? If you can imagine yourself taking action, that means you can do it, and you know you can do it, right? You wouldn't be watching the video if you knew you couldn't do it. You know you can. So when you understand that concept, it goes deeper than that. I take it to a whole nother level where like I read religious texts and I follow this guy's instructions, or not this guy's understandings. I listen to him, and he really explains that we are God. All of us, we are all God, and we have the power to declare who we are and change our lives. Not even change our lives, but just follow in the who we say we are. Like we declare it, that means we are that person right now. Because God, all things are possible through God. I am this. And then that really comes back to tying it into there's nothing that has power over me. So 5th step, execute. Once you're comfortable, execute. But let's really get clear, right, on our feelings. Or get clear on our goals, right? On our urgent actions. Not urgent, important actions. What are the important actions that we need to take to move the needle, to become an exponential world class in whatever we want to do? Number 2, clear on your feelings. What is the response after that too? So what are the feelings that are holding you back? Like the bad feelings, right? And that, what are those bad feelings, and then what is the bad response that happens? So I feel overwhelmed, I start to procrastinate. I feel tired, take a nap. Look at those feelings. Look at the response. Now, even before that, let's ask ourselves, right, questions. What is causing that feeling? Get specific, right? Get specific. What is causing that feeling? It's okay, I think of myself as this, I think of myself that. If I'm tired, my sleep schedule is so bad. I should go to sleep. My sleep schedule is so bad, etc., etc., etc. We now have to, right? Next step, state what your ideal action is now, right? You ask those questions of why. Why am I having those feelings? You got a little bit more specific on who you are and why you have those feelings and why do you take those responses, right? Now you're going to jot down, script, or imagine your ideal action that you're going to take. You're not going to judge it though. You're not going to be like, hey, I would never take this action. Like, yeah, right, I can't take that action. No. You're going to state what you think is the ideal response. You're going to have that cue, right? The bad cue. You're tired, you're overwhelmed. And then right in between that, imagine or script your new response. And let that sink in. Let that just keep repeating that. Keep doing that, keep doing that. And then you're going to see something happen, right? Where you start acting like the person that you are imagining. Fourth, understand that you can say I am to anything. And I'm not saying you can say I am to anything. That means you can say I am to anything and you can imagine it. That means that's kind of real. You can script it, it's kind of real. And then as you keep doing that, keep inserting those new responses right after the bad habit through imagination, you're going to start doing that automatically, little by little. And maybe not little by little, you could make it exponential. But then you'll execute. So if you can follow those 5 steps, we're going to get clear, right? Number 1, we're going to get clear on our important tasks that we have to take on that will move the needle. 2, get clear on your feelings and the bad response. What feeling is right before the bad response, and what is your bad responses? Now, in that step 2, you're going to ask yourself, why do I have these bad responses? And what's making me feel this way? Right? What's making me feel this way? Why am I having these bad responses? And now we're going to get to a point, right? We're going to ask those questions to get an answer that feels actionable. And that action is going to be step number 3, where you can, like, the answer really, I mean, there's several answers, but the answer is like, hey, you know what? I feel this way and I act this way. It's okay. Because I'm human. And as a human being, I can feel these ways and I can do these things because I can do anything. Like in terms of human beings, like, of course, if I'm tired, I'm going to take a nap. Yeah. But now the smallest step you can take, just imagine or script what your ideal response is right after that feeling. And then every time you get that feeling, imagine that response. And when you are just unconscious, you don't remember, you don't remember this, come back to the video or kind of jot it down and remember it. Don't be hard on yourself. We're not judging, right? we can't judge. You gotta judge righteously. And then fourth step, understand the concept that I am. I can be anything. I can say whoever I want to say, and it feels real. I can imagine it, and it feels real, and it is real. Fifth, execute. Guys, that's the video. I feel like the more I can make videos on this, the more I'll explain it better and be less stressed in explaining. I feel like when I start talking, my head is like pounding. So I wonder what that is. I'm gonna get down. I'm gonna actually, maybe I'll figure it out right now. Ask why am I feeling this and what is the bad response, right? My head is like stressing and everything. My head's like, ugh. And then we're gonna imagine myself feeling calm when I speak. Cheers, guys. Have a good day.